You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
Do you need a car? Been shopping only to be turned down because of bad credit, low credit, no credit, bankruptcy, or divorce? Guess what? Today's your lucky day, because now you can buy a car, truck, or SUV, just about any vehicle. It's true. Bad credit doesn't matter. No credit doesn't matter. Bankruptcy or divorce, it just doesn't matter. As a matter of fact, your job is your ticket to your new vehicle. We're Auto Credit Express, and we've helped thousands of people just like you. Antonio H. told us, great company, got me connected, and the day I went in, I drove off in the car I wanted. 100% worth your time. Need a car? Get started now and drive off as early as today. Just text FINANCE, FINANCE, to 357-911 right now to get started. That's FINANCE, FINANCE, to 357-911. Auto financing the easy way. Text FINANCE to 357-911.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Everyone loves liberty. Our rights come from God, not the government. So why are you letting other people tell you what's best for your healthcare? Exercise your freedom with Liberty Health Share. Liberty Health Share is a community of people who voluntarily share one another's medical costs. Liberty Health Share is founded on the idea that most people truly want to help one another. Healthcare sharing allows members to do just that as a true community that supports one another in times of need. Liberty believes people should make decisions for themselves and their families. Members are able to take back the freedom to make their own decisions about their healthcare. Freedom from guilt or doubt about how your money is used. You have the freedom to direct your healthcare, not to be dictated to by bureaucrats. Stop letting others tell you what to do and join a community of like-minded people. Exercise your freedom. Join Liberty Health Share and take back the control of your healthcare while helping those around you. Call Liberty at 855-58-LIBERTY. Again, that's 855-58-LIBERTY for more information, or you can check them out at libertyhealthshare.org. Again, that's libertyhealthshare.org.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now, 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
At St. Jude, a family never sees a bill at all. It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Sometimes writers feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
We believe in the American way, and we built this country called the USA, and we fly our flag because we're proud and free, we're Americans. Red, white, and blue is our way of life. We never back down from a challenge or a fight. Nature provides, God gives the rights, we're Americans. We fish the waters and we hunt the lands. We forge the steel with our own two hands. With what we've got, we do the best we can, we're Americans.
This is Rio of Madison Rising, and you're listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
It's time now for the Conservative Curmudgeon Radio Show. Now, here's Grouchy.
Thank you. It is so good to finally be back to normal. Yes, my summer schedule has reverted back to its normal self, and I am done with the elongated days that have killed me over this summer from being with you every Wednesday. So that has ended. It is good to be back. I want to give you a quick reminder. Coming up following me tonight is Jesse's POV. Then you get a 1 hour break. You get your dessert on, you get your drink, you get your little nightcap, whatever you want to do for about an hour, and then get your butt right back in front of the computer or on your phone or whatever you got to do to get back to KLRN Radio and listen to America Off the Rails with Rowdy Rick. And, like I said, it's the trifecta every Wednesday night. Your conservative talk can't be beat right here. So, what are we going to start back with? It's almost like a new season. You get past the summer with me and get back to normal work hours, and it's like a whole new season of shows. And, well, we're going to start tonight with calling out some hypocrisy on our side of the aisle, the conservative side of the aisle. And you know I do it, and it pains me to do it because it is our side of the aisle, but sometimes people are just wrong, and you have to tell them that they're wrong. So, freedom of the press is something that is guaranteed in the Constitution. But there apparently is a plurality of self-identified Republicans who want to give President Trump the authority to close down certain news outlets. And this is according to a new public opinion survey poll conducted by Ipsos. The findings were so
G, can you hear me? Yay.
There are increased support for punitive measures against the members of these media outlets. It illustrates the extent to which Trump's
And that, ladies and gentlemen, was the sound of G disappearing. Give me just a moment. We will see if we can get him back online. But that probably means he's lost his internet connection, because it says he's completely offline. Alright, so while I'm waiting to see if we can get him back, I don't normally talk on the show, because I'm normally the producer. So to give you guys a bit of a heads up while I'm waiting to see if we can get him back online, I'm going to give you a bit of a taste of what I've been going through for the last week. So for those of you who don't know, I was actually brought on as affiliate host on KOKC 15 Radio over a year ago. However, I'd never gotten the call before. Well, there's been some station change-ups and a few other things. So I finally got called the other day, and I did the morning show on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of last week. And it was amazing, and I'm still waiting to see if G's ever going to come back online. Let's try it. I'll look at do is tell me no. Hang on. Joys of live radio, folks. Let's see if we can get him back.
Hey, did we drop?
Yeah, you were gone, brother. I kept trying to get your attention, and then you came back for like 20 seconds, and then you were just bloop. And oddly enough, it still says you're offline when I look. That's why it took me so long to try to call you back. Because I assumed your whole internet crashed because it was showing you were offline. Anyway,
I have an idea.
What's that?
Let's blame Seymour.
Sure. I'm down with blaming Seymour.
The idiot intern probably tripped over something and unplugged it and didn't know what he was doing. So,
hey, Seymour, your boss is sending me your share of the Steakums today because you suck.
Exactly. And I was going to say, it's been a long summer. He hasn't had his full complement of Steakums over the summer because of the off weeks. And, now you get to split them this week, Seymour. You get to split them with Rick.
Split them.
Where the hell? Where did we cut off? Do you know, or
split them? I'll cut a bitch over Steakums. Honestly, I honestly really don't know because I was like completely panicking, trying to see if you could hear me, and I was messaging you, and you're like,
Okay. Well, since we didn't get all that far, let's just rewind. It's okay. It's live radio. Stuff happens, and we conquer. As Bill Murray said, we came, we saw, we kicked its ass. So anyway, we'll just rewind right back to the beginning. Freedom of the press, guaranteed by the Constitution, but we have a plurality of Republicans who want to give President Trump the authority to close down certain news outlets. And this is according to a new public opinion survey conducted by Ipsos. Now, these findings were quite sobering in that they basically paint a picture for the advent of the Fourth Estate. Respondents showing diminished trust in the media, which I get fully, and increased support for punitive measures against its members. Now, I've always kind of thought that there should be some kind of mechanism. I don't know that it should necessarily be government controlled, though. Again, touchy spot. You don't want to infringe on the freedom of the press, but at the same time, you don't want the media pushing narratives instead of doing what they're really supposed to be doing, which is reporting the news. So, these numbers illustrate the president's bias against certain media outlets, and we're not going to, some people refer to it as Trump's anti-press, but he's not really anti-press. I think more what he's tired of is just not getting a fair shake. Nobody wants to report what's good happening in this administration. They only want to harp on what they can ride into their narrative. And, the president has done his share of shaping public opinion about the role that the media plays in covering his administration. So, all told, which is about the point here we're at now where Rick called me back. So, all told, 43% of self-identified Republicans said that they believed that the president should have the authority to close news outlets engaged in bad behavior. Again, I do not approve of this. This opens so many doors. What are you going to do when a Democrat takes the White House again and you've inferred this power onto the president and only one or two news outlets are willing to speak out against him and he shuts them down? Then there's no voice against the president. Again, I don't think that the president minds a fair dose of criticism, calling balls and strikes. There are things where he has stepped on his tie and tripped himself up. Fair enough, call him on it. But not, you can't just, I mean, it was like when the unemployment numbers came out the other day. Nobody wanted to talk about how good the unemployment numbers looked. All they could talk about is how this is just temporary and we need to wait and see for some other factors and blah, 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 blah. Anything they could do to bury it. And I'm sorry, employment looks good right now. We actually have, and we'll probably touch on this a little later in the program, but there are actually more jobs open than people seeking jobs right now. This is a great problem to have in America. But back to our poll here. 36% disagreed with the statement that the president should have that authority to shut down bad behavior media outlets. Only 36% disagreed. You know what that tells me? That tells me that we have a lot of blind support for President Trump out there. And again, I don't mind people supporting President Trump. I support everything he does that measures constitutional and measures as a positive for our country. When he does something that doesn't measure up, I will call him on it. That's fair. I don't think he wants anything more than fair. So here we go. When asked if President Trump should close down specific outlets, including CNN, the Washington Post, and the New York Times, nearly a quarter of Republicans, 23%, agreed. Luckily, the disagree number went up to 49%. So there is some hope out there of people that don't have blinders on completely. So Republicans were far more likely to take a negative view of the media. 48% of them said they believe the news media is the enemy of the American people. Just 28% disagreed with that statement, while nearly 4 out of every 5, 79%, said they believe the mainstream media treats President Trump unfairly. Okay, this is what we just talked about. Again, a much higher number agrees that the media treats him unfairly. I don't think that's an unfair statement to make, and I can see where 79% would agree with that statement. But swaths of self-identified Democrats and independents supported anti-press positions as well. Not as high, but still solid chunks. So according to the survey, 12% of Democrats and 21% of independents agreed that the sitting president should have the authority to close news outlets engaged in bad behavior. This goes back to things like the Senate rules. When the Democrats controlled the Senate and changed the rules, now they've been bit by those rules that they changed and are crying foul. Here's what these Democrats are thinking. We'll be in charge again one day, and we'll want to shut down Fox News. That's the way they're thinking. So, again, Rick, did we just cut out?
Yeah, I'm losing you again, but you're not all the way gone. I don't know what's going on today.
I just heard a beep, so I had to ask. I don't know, man. It could be the internet down here at the end of the road. Sometimes it happens. We've had storms brewing earlier today, so anyway, so 74% and 55% respectively disagreed that he should have the power to shut down media outlets. So you see there's a much larger percent. And I don't think, again, I don't think this is Democrats that are thinking constitutionally. These are Democrats that are thinking, no, Trump shouldn't have that power. Additionally, 12% of Democrats and 26% of independents agreed that the news media is an enemy of the American people. Now, 74% and 50% respectively disagreed with that statement. So you can see there is a foothold on both sides of the aisle that is anti-media. Now, are they anti-media because they are anti-Trump, or are they anti-media because they are anti-media? We have no way of knowing. They didn't ask those questions. So this concept of an enemy press corps has been a staple of Trump's tweets and his public utterances in recent months. Now, in fairness, too, he does not refer to all media outlets this way. Okay? Just the ones that are only intent on maligning him as a full-time job. He calls them out. He's identified them specifically. He's not talking about all the press, much as people on the left would have you believe otherwise. So much of it appears prompted by stories about internal frictions within the White House and a growing fear over the state of the investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 campaign. Again, there is no evidence whatsoever of Russian collusion. They've been investigating for nearly 2 years now and have turned up nothing. Members of the press, as well as top officials at some of the nation's leading publications, have objected to the phrase, arguing that it's both widely inaccurate and deeply dangerous, talking about enemy of the people. But you know what else is wildly inaccurate and also deeply dangerous? Is misrepresentation of news under the guise of being a news media outlet. It is absolutely abusive. Okay? Now, here's, again, this is what happens when people do things the right way. If you don't like what a business is doing, you have the right not to patronize that business. Don't watch those TV shows. Don't buy from those sponsoring it. Okay? You make your voice heard with your wallet. Okay? I'm not a big fan of woohoo, let's boycott this. Woohoo, let's boycott that. No, I'm not a big fan of that. Okay? Because eventually everybody will have a differing opinion. And if you start boycotting everybody, what are you going to have?
Boycott all the things.
Well, it goes back. Remember, perfect example. Remember when Target made their bathroom policy what it currently is now, and people started boycotting Target? You remember that, Rick?
Yeah, I remember. I still want to shop at Target.
So here's the thing. So they're going to boycott Target. Where are you going to go if you don't go to Target?
I went to Walmart.
Walmart. I mean, that's really your other choice, right? Okay.
Pretty much.
So guess what? Walmart has the same bathroom policy. They just didn't publicize it like Target did.
Target should have kept their damn mouth shut. No, I'm just playing.
Yeah, well, so now you're gonna boycott Target. You're gonna boycott Walmart. So now where are you gonna go? You gonna go to the Piggly Wiggly?
Amazon, because they don't have to worry about their bathrooms.
Well, okay, but then you got Amazon. You got Bezos, who owns the Washington Post, who is also in favor of these bathroom policies, who's also in favor of all these extra rights for LGBTQIAP people.
XYZ.
So when does it end? When does the boycotting end? When you run out of entities to boycott?
When there's a conservative Amazon, because then I have somewhere I can shop. No, I'm just playing.
Well, I mean, yeah, but it gripes me to no end. Okay, you know what? You don't like something? Use your wallet. Use your wallet. Make your voice heard through your wallet. You don't have to be, I'm boycotting this because of this. Okay? Just do it. You don't have to brag about it. You don't have to tell anybody about it. You're not so important that who you're boycotting needs to be pressed upon other people.
If anyone from Nike was listening, your slogan was just used without my approval. Just playing.
It was?
You just said just do it.
Yeah. Well, okay, just proceed with it. Anyway, so no, I'm not in favor of boycotts in an organized sense. Just do what you're gonna do. Make your voice heard with your wallet. This is where it hits people, okay? Today, the Oscars announced that they're revamping movie categories and they're moving to a strict 3-hour television schedule. Why do you think that is? Because people turned them off more and more over the last few years. They are responding in kind. They're going to try to draw you back in. This is what happens with businesses too. You start cutting off their choke point, which is money coming in, and they're going to change. So anyway, offered the opportunity, Trump's spokesperson, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, declined to denounce the phrase enemy of the people as referring to the press. Other Trump supporters have insisted that he was merely referring to those outlets that spread false information, which is exactly the case. He has specifically pinpointed different media outlets that do spread false or misleading information. And when he refers to the media being an enemy, he's referring to them. He's not referring to all media everywhere. The fact that there are outlets out there having a meltdown over this when they're not even inferred in the name calling, it's beyond me. It's beyond me. Now, again, Trump's daughter Ivanka and his top advisor Kellyanne Conway have both recently said that they do not agree that the press is an enemy, while adding that the media plays an important socio-political role. See, they are right. The media does play an important socio-political role. That's why it's so critical for them to do their jobs properly. Some of these idiots that I've seen in the last week on Twitter that are a professor at a school of journalism, or journalism students or graduates of journalism school that are now working in journalism. Holy crap. It's no wonder that the media is in the state that it's in. But anyway, respondents to this Ipsos survey seem to generally share the belief that Ivanka and Kellyanne shared, that the media is not an enemy. Okay, if one of the polls, few silver linings for the press, 57% of all respondents said they believed news and reporters were necessary to keep the Trump administration honest, including a plurality of Republicans, 39%, versus 35% disagreeing. A slightly less robust 46% of respondents said they agreed that most news outlets try their best to produce honest reporting, compared to 35% who disagreed. Now, I'd like the middle ground on that question. Do most news outlets try their best to produce honest reporting. I would say the truth lies between yes and no. But virtually everyone, 85%, where this other 15% is, I have no idea. But 85% believe that freedom of the press is essential for American democracy. Okay, 4% opposed that statement. So there's 4 of the 15%. I guess 11% were undecided or don't know. I don't understand that. But despite support for journalistic principles in the abstract, respondents also seemed inclined to believe that reporters had too much professional protection. According to the survey, 72% of all respondents agreed that it should be easier to sue reporters who knowingly publish false information. That included 85% of Republicans and 63% of Democrats. Those are big numbers from both sides. I got news for you, folks. And you know what? There should be a mechanism. As a journalist, there needs to be, I don't even know. There needs to be some kind of non-governmental oversight of some kind. You shouldn't just be able to, because you own a news media outlet, you shouldn't just be able to go on television and blab misleading false information and purport it as the truth. You have a responsibility. Again, your viewers, as viewers, you have a responsibility too, to be able to identify the crap and turn it. You know, when you're sitting there with that remote control in your hand, you can change the channel. You don't have to listen to them give their false and misleading information. Turn it. Take some responsibility for yourself. Okay? We'll figure out how to take care of the news media eventually. There's got to be a way. If it's just turning them off, turn them off. All right, anyway, we're to the bottom of the hour. This took a lot longer than I thought it would. But we'll never finish all my notes tonight. Anyway, we're going to take a break. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Go get your drink. Hurry back. You got about 3 minutes. Ready, set, go.
You and me, ain't that America? Something to see, baby. Ain't that America? Home on the
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now. 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 $3 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
Oh, but ain't that America? You and me, ain't that America? Something to see, baby, ain't that America? Home of the free, yeah.
Little pink houses. Yeah, you know. All right, so pressing on from media matters. No, not the company, just the matters that we covered before. More than 600,000 foreign travelers who legally entered the United States in 2017 overstayed their visas and remained in the country by the end of the year. This is according to the Department of Homeland Security. That figure represents only 1.15% of more than 52 million foreigners who legally entered the United States through air and seaports in 2017, and is down 1.25% from the year before. But it marked the second straight year that more than 600,000 visitors stayed past the expiration of their visa, turning them into undocumented immigrants at risk of deportation. Not only undocumented, but law-breaking. President Trump has urged Congress to complete a biometric entry-exit tracking system that would better monitor foreigners who legally visit the United States. Completion of that system, which uses fingerprints and iris scans to more accurately capture when people enter and exit the country, was included in an executive order he signed shortly after being sworn in as president. But President Trump and his administration have focused far more on building a wall along the southern border with Mexico, even threatening a government shutdown if they fail to give him a $5 billion down payment this year to continue expanding the wall. Now, immigration experts are saying that shows the president has been misguided in his immigration enforcement strategy. DHS shows that illegal immigration across the southern border is at historic lows. Slightly more than 300,000 immigrants were caught crossing the border in 2017. That's down from a high of 1.6 million in 2000, according to Border Patrol data. Now, in fact, the rumor here is that more Mexicans are returning to their native country than coming to the United States. I don't buy that for a minute. That's according to a 2015 report from Pew Research Center. They're not citing a whole lot, but they're just saying that the number of undocumented immigrants from Mexico living in the United States has dropped by more than 1 million over a 3-year period. And again, I don't know how they're getting that number. I don't know how you quantify or qualify the number of undocumented immigrants still remaining in the United States. There's a reason that they're undocumented. You can count just the papers, but that doesn't count the illegal crossings. So don't tell me that the numbers decreased by more than 1 million in just 3 years. Ali Noorani, executive director of the National Immigration Forum, a group that advocates for immigrants, a group that advocates for border walls to be torn down, a group that advocates for open borders, a group that advocates for anybody but an American citizen, said that Trump's obsession with a border wall in light of the visa overstay data shows he's not serious about a sound immigration policy. Actually, I think it indicates just the opposite. But one can't address everything at one time. You take steps. And Noorani said the president should be focusing instead on improving port security and broader changes to the legal immigration system. Oh, I agree. We do need changes to the legal immigration system. Not like what the left thinks we need, but we do need changes to the legal immigration system. Noorani continued, instead, the president wants to spend tens of billions of dollars on a border wall that doesn't solve any real problems, but makes for a chant at a rally. Yeah. Border wall would solve some problems. Would it solve all the problems? No, it would not. Okay, it would not. We know this, but we do have to start somewhere. And if we can't secure our border, or at least start to secure our border, how are we ever going to remain sovereign? Now, according to this DHS report, the department made some improvements in 2017 to ensure that foreigners left the country when they were required to. It continued testing biometric screening processes at several air and seaports. And officials started emailing foreigners who were part of the visa waiver program when the end of their visits were coming up. Citizens of 38 countries, mostly in Europe, are part of the program, which allows them to visit the U.S. for up to 90 days without getting a visa. And despite those gradual improvements, the report acknowledges that there is no specific cause that can be directly attributed to the increase or decrease in the overstay rates. Now, other findings in the report show that Canadians made up the largest group of visa overstays. Now, again, you have to remember, these are people that legally enter the United States and then remain past their visa illegally. So Canadians made up the largest group with more than 92,000 remaining in the U.S. despite being expected to leave, and Mexicans made up the second largest group of visa overstays with more than 47,000. Now, this makes sense. They are our neighbors to the north and south, and I mean, naturally, you would expect that would be the bulk of the traffic coming in and out of the country from other countries. And, I mean, it floors me that they're acting like this is not a big deal. Okay? So what are these people doing when they overstay? What the hell are they doing? They know that once they overstay, they are violating our immigration laws. And, I mean, of the 38 visa waiver program countries, Portuguese citizens had the highest overstay rate at 1.81%, followed by Hungarians and the Greeks. Now, of the visa waiver program countries, British citizens had the highest number of visa overstays total, with 25,694, followed by the French with 16,456, and Spaniards 13,780 in raw numbers. The overall number of visa overstays has continued dropping in fiscal year 2018 as more people left the country voluntarily or through deportations. By January 2018, the number fell to 494,700, and by May it had fallen to 421,325. So, I mean, we're making some progress here, but again, why are they overstaying to begin with? What is the purpose? Is it nefarious? We don't know. We don't know because we still have over 400,000 people out there that have overstayed their legal visas and have now become criminals. So, anyway, all that talks about legal immigration. The border wall is to help with illegal immigration. There's a big difference. And this is why, where is that? Let me find it. The National Immigration Forum. They're conflating things here. They're absolutely conflating things. They're opening their mouth about legal immigrants overstaying their visas, and they're trying to conflate that with stopping illegal immigration. But it's just it doesn't wash. You have to watch the left and the right hands to see what's going on. They're really good at switching on you. Okay, but anyway, let's press on. We have a problem brewing in the Middle East. By now, you know that Trump has pulled us out of the Iran nuclear deal. He has reimposed sanctions on Iran. And there is an ongoing currency crisis and high levels of unemployment that are pushing Iran to the brink of another civil war, with ordinary citizens speaking of their fury at an endemic corruption and financial mismanagement, which is blighting their lives, basically. Prices are spiraling, and President Rouhani at loggerheads with the U.S. opposite Trump. Things got even worse with the reimposition of tough economic sanctions aimed at further undermining the Islamic fundamentalist republic. Measures which target cars, gold, and other metals trading as well as the government's ability to buy U.S. dollars came into force today, which would have been a couple of days ago. The U.S. has acted after President Trump pulled out of the JCPOA nuclear agreement earlier this year, the deal which eased sanctions against Iran in exchange for no longer embarking on nuclear weapons development. The Iranian rial has lost half its value against the U.S. dollar on the unofficial market this year, while the price of fruit and vegetables in Iran has increased by over 50% since the start of the year. In the current economic climate, low-income families are struggling to put food on the table. One woman, speaking to the Financial Times as she paid over the odds for a lettuce and a cabbage, said, "Damn this regime and its corrupt rulers." Wow. Wow, an Iranian woman damning the Ayatollah and Rouhani. That's brave. Yeah, that's real brave. They have sent their children to the U.S. and Canada while making us poorer every day, she continued. Now, recent months in Iran have been marked with protests on issues ranging from water shortages to joblessness, and the Trump administration is partly motivated by a desire to trigger a popular uprising and consequent regime change, something implied by Secretary of State Mike Pompeo in a speech delivered last month, in which he characterized the country's rulers as a mafia. Now, the commander of Iran's Revolutionary Guards, Major General Mohammad Ali Jafari, has acknowledged the gravity of the situation, declaring that domestic weaknesses are threats, and threats are more serious, and the foreign military threat posed by the U.S. Or other countries. So the rank and file are infuriated by allegations of corruption, while reformist and hardline politicians routinely accuse each other of fraud and mismanagement. Now, Ali, 61, a former member of the Revolutionary Guard in the city of Amal, said corruption is so high that it has penetrated everywhere. I don't doubt that. I have no reason to doubt that. Their economy shows it, even without our sanctions. He continued, why should we struggle with daily issues and risk our lives to fill the pockets of corrupt people? In anticipation of the sanctions, wealthy Iranians have been stockpiling basic commodities and buying up gold and cars in a bid to protect the value of their savings. However, less affluent people do not have this option, and their complaints are increasingly taking on an anti-establishment tone. Now, a different Ali, a 19-year-old shop worker, said, if I see protesters in the streets, I will join them. He explained that he worked 16-hour days, receiving 1 million tomans, which is about 175 British pounds a month. A toman is equal to 10 rials, whatever they call it. He added, the owner of this shop receives 90 million tomans in rent every month without working. Why? Is this a fair system? Well, he owns the building. He can charge what he wants. You don't have to be there. Another shopkeeper said before people who could afford or not afford to eat meat were at least having bread and yogurt. But now even yogurt is becoming unaffordable for some families. So experts have warned that the new sanctions will mean a price of a barrel of oil could rocket to $90. Morgan Stanley estimates Iranian production will drop to 2.7 million barrels a day by the fourth quarter, with more than 1 million barrels taken offline. Now, we have a little influence with some other countries out there. We might be able to tweak and make up that difference, but a $90 oil would definitely be a bad thing. So anyway, there's that going on. The next thing I had, we won't be able to go into, but it was a big global warming story. But it would definitely take a long time to go through it. So we're going to do this last story real quick. I know we got just a few more minutes here before we have to call it. And we averted to this a little earlier. U.S. employers posted slightly more openings in June than the previous month, resulting in more available jobs than unemployed people for the third straight month, signaling a solid economy. The Labor Department said Tuesday that job openings barely increased, rising 3,000 to 6.66 million. That's more than the 6.56 million who are searching for work in June. It's also close to April's figure of 6.8 million, a record high. Overall hiring slipped to 5.65 million from 5.75 million, and the number of people quitting their jobs declined slightly to 3.4 million from nearly 3.5 million in May. The figures reflect a robust job market. The unemployed typically outnumber job openings, but that reversed this spring amid strong demand from employers. Businesses are optimistic about the outlook and stepping up hiring in anticipation of solid future growth. The economy expanded at 4.1% during the April to June quarter, the fastest pace in 4 years. Last week, the government said that employers added 157,000 jobs in July, and the unemployment rate fell to 3.9%, a near 18-year low. That figure represents a net gain, while Tuesday's report, known as the Jobs Openings and Labor Turnover Survey, or JOLTS, measured total hiring before quits, layoffs, and retirements. So the proportion of workers quitting their jobs is at the highest level in nearly 13 years. But that's a sign of confidence in the economy, because workers typically quit when they are sure they can find a new job or already have a new one lined up with higher pay, most likely. With job openings outnumbering the unemployed, companies should be bidding up wages to attract and keep workers. Yet hourly pay gains, while slowly grinding higher, remain modest. Yeah, well, no one's going to get in a gigantic hurry to do this. Okay, I mean, you've got a few mega employers out there like Walmart and Target. They can afford to say, okay, hey, we're going to bump you $2 an hour. It's not going to kill them. They can do it. Not every company has that kind of, shall we say, financial backing to make that happen. Average hourly wages rose 2.7% in July from a year earlier. The Labor Department said, yet rising inflation has offset that gain. Consumer prices increased 2.9% in June from a year ago, mostly lifted in part by gas prices. There are many possible reasons why pay isn't rising faster. One explanation is that worker productivity, or output per hour worked, is increasing at a historically sluggish rate. That suggests that workers aren't getting much more efficient, which makes it harder to win higher pay. Productivity can rise when companies invest in more machinery, computers, and software to boost employees' output. So anyway, that's the job picture we were referring to earlier. Folks, we're there. That's the show for tonight. I'm going to save the global warming article for next week because it's really good. And actually, we should call it an anti-global warming article because it addresses a lot of the fallacies that go along with quote-unquote global warming, or quote-unquote climate change, if you will. But like I said, we'll get into that next week. That's the show tonight, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, tell your friends. If your friends like it, you need new friends. But they and you are welcome right here with me every week on KLRN Radio for the Conservative Curmudgeon Radio Show. I'm your host, The Grouch. Peace. God bless.
From a challenge or a fight, nature provides, God gives the rights. We're Americans. We fish the waters and we hunt the land.